Are you one of the 1% born with a silver spoon in your mouth? Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Supersize your business. And this is actually a silver spoon. And I was definitely not one of the 1% that was born with a silver spoon in my mouth. I was raised in a typical middle-class American family in the 1960s and 70s. And, you know, my dad came from very humble beginnings, actually super duper poor beginnings, and created everything that he provided for my sisters and I and my mom and our family through massive hard work and bootstrapping and simultaneously working both in a corporate America his whole career as well as having many, many businesses on the side. I think that's where I got it. I guarantee that's where I got it from. So what does this idiom, this expression, born with a silver spoon in your mouth mean? It, of course, means wealthy, very, very wealthy, as especially inherited wealth. And this, Peter Anthony, and I'm going to meet his last name, Motu or something, it's French, translated Don Quixote in 1719 into English. And that's where the expression born with a silver spoon in your mouth came from in English and was first introduced in writing in English. I'm sure it was probably used before that. People said it, but he actually translated it from the French, Don Quixote. It was French. And it has been used ever since in the United States, for sure, to talk about the elite, those people that reach a certain level of wealth that the rest of us dream to or are working toward achieving as well. But it only applies to about 1% of the American population. I'm not sure what the percentage is in other countries, but the concept is the same. And statistics tend to work across the board, right? The 80-20 rule is the 80-20 rule and the Pareto principle because it applies to so many different things and you can make it fit to so many different things. So what does this have to do with growing and building and supersizing our business? Well, with the thousands of businesses and business owners that I have worked with, I have yet to have a business owner that was born with a silver spoon in their mouth, that actually inherited money, was born rich, and is just out building businesses. And because those people don't go to get help from other people, they think differently. They already know and have a totally different mindset than the vast majority of us, right? They think differently. They don't. So what can we learn from that, right? Well, what do I have to think? What do I have to believe in order to create the business, to supersize the business that I want? So we can learn lessons from the nouveau rich, the super wealthy. But what you'll find, and this is really interesting, my son and I were talking about this the other day, and a gentleman had bought, and I don't remember the car because I'm not a car person. My son would know. But he bought this super duper car that cost like $2.5 million because there's a club that only people that own that car can belong to. And he was a salesman and he figured, hey, if I get this car, it's a great investment because they appreciate in value, but I also can use it to get in this club that has the super rich in it. And what he found when he got into that club is that no one who owned those cars actually owned businesses and worked. He wanted to work with these super duper big wealthy business owners. And it turns out they were all trust fund kids, trust fund people that owned the cars, and none of them actually had businesses or were working for a living. And I said to my son, well, that's a great lesson learned, because he thought that was a great strategy and came to find out that that would not be a great strategy to work with those type of people, because unless you're wanting to work with trust fund people that are doing investments and big things where they're creating only passive income, yeah, that's not where you're going to find them. But they think differently, right? So people that were born rich think differently than the rest of us, right? Than even the 3% or 5% of us that are building and growing and supersizing our businesses. Guess what? We think differently than the other 97% of the population. And that's because we know and believe that we can create what it is that we want in the world by the choices that we make. I always say you can make excuses or you can make progress. We always have a choice. And whenever I catch myself making excuses or giving myself reasons for why something hasn't happened yet, I stop and I'm like, whoa, erase. You can make excuses and you can blame other things, or you can choose to think differently and figure out, okay, what's my next step to continue making progress toward what it is that I want. And the other thing that this reminds me of is that where we start out does not equal where we finish or where we go. If it did, we would never see examples of people that have achieved great things because they weren't born with that. I don't believe that I think we're born with everything we need to create whatever it is we want in our life. And it's different for each and every one of us. And the vast majority of people will never create or do what, even a percentage of what they're capable of because they don't believe that they can. So that goes back to the think differently. Where you start isn't where you finish. And we can make excuses or we can make progress, but we always have a choice. And sometimes we'll do both, right? Sometimes we'll make an excuse for a while and we'll procrastinate, and then we'll realize that we're doing it and we'll say, no, next. And we'll do the next thing that we need to do to supersize and grow our business. So I would love to know, do you know any people that were born with a spoon in their mouth? I actually know some, but I'm not involved with them or their businesses, right? We all interact with all types of people on the planet. And so it's fun to see the different way that people think. And I'd say that's one thing that we want to study and learn from is and I think I asked this, what do I have to believe? What do I have to think in order to create whatever it is that I want in the world? All right, have an awesome day. Share in the comments below your experience with Born with a Silver Spoon in Your Mouth. And I will be with you tomorrow with another financial related idiom for this month. Just a few days left in the month. All right, have a great day.